Salvete! My name is Demetrios, I'm a historical reenactor and gladiator. I usually fight as a provocator, lately also tried out the Thraex, and this is the third video of my series 10 questions about gladiators. Coincidentally, this time I'm going to talk about the Thraex, and if you haven't seen my two other videos, you can find them here and here, or over on my channel. And with that said, let's not waste any more time and jump straight into the video. Question number 1. What was a Thraex and where did he came from? The Thraex is one of the most famous gladiator types we know of, and even in ancient Rome he was especially popular. This gladiator class goes back to the Roman Republic and initially belonged to the so-called ethnic classes. He was meant to represent a Thracian warrior, a people who lived in the region of ancient Thrace. Thrace gradually became a Roman client kingdom during the late Republic before being annexed as the Roman province of Thracia in 46 AD. Today this region roughly corresponds to modern Bulgaria, the European part of Turkey and parts of Greece. Question number 2. Why did the Thraex use a curved sword? The curved sword of the Thraex, known as sica, or also sometimes called sica supina, resembles the weapons associated with Thracian or Dacian warriors. The one-handed sica, though, should not be confused with the larger falx. Besides emphasizing the gladiator's Thracian origins, the curved blade complemented his fighting style. It may have allowed attacks around or behind an opponent's shield. Question number 3. Who were his usual opponents? The Thraex most commonly fought a murmillo. The pairing probably emphasized contrasting fighting styles and may also have reflected Rome's victories over foreign enemies. There is also evidence of contests between the Thraex and the hoplomachus, even if these are much rarer. Some people also say that there were pairings against a provocator, but I haven't found any evidence for that claim. Question number 4. Why were his legs so heavily armored? The Thraex belonged to the so-called parmulati, the gladiator types wearing small shields. Because a small shield offered less protection for the legs, high greaves and often padded leg protection were used to compensate. This is also seen on the hoplomachus. In general, the smaller the shield, the more extensive the leg protection. However, not every depiction shows fully padded legs. Some Thraexes wore only the tall greaves. Question number 5. How heavy was the equipment? The total weight depended on period, location, and general equipment. Modern reconstructions usually weigh approximately 14 to 20 kilograms. My own Thraex equipment weighs about 14.6 kilograms, with the helmet being the most heavy object in the whole equipment. Although today classified as a medium-weight gladiator, the Thraex relied heavily on agility and mobility. Question number 6. Why is the Thraex often depicted with a griffin on top of his helmet? Several explanations have been proposed. The griffin was closely associated with the goddess Nemesis, an important deity in the Roman arena, and may have served as a tribute to her. This is the interpretation accepted by most scholars today. Another hypothesis sees the Thraex as symbolically representing a bird of prey. The griffin crest and the curved sica together evoke the image of a beak, while the murmillo symbolized a fish, making their contest a symbolic struggle between bird and fish, a combat of nature. Question number 7. Do we know any famous Thraexes from ancient Rome? Yes. The most famous being Spartacus. Known in ancient Rome for his slave revolt against Rome herself, he is often used in pop culture today, like in the TV series Spartacus. Ancient authors describe Spartacus as a Thracian, but they never explicitly state that he fought as a Thraex. We also know some others named Thraexes from inscriptions and funerary monuments, including Marcus Antonius Exocus, a celebrated Thraex whose funerary monument suggested he achieved considerable success and prestige in the arena, showing that successful gladiators could earn lasting recognition far beyond the arena. Question number 8. What archaeological evidence shows us how a Thraex looked like? Our understanding comes primarily from funerary monuments, reliefs, mosaics, graffiti and oil lamps. Although the equipment evolved over centuries, the defining features remaining remarkably consistent. The small shield, the curved sword, the two high greaves, the manica and, in many depictions, padded leg protection. Question number 9. What were the strengths and weaknesses of the Thraex? The Thraex was heavily protected but still vulnerable on the torso, back and the shield arm. The small shield demanded constant movement and careful positioning. Against the Murmillo, the large scutum could block much of the Thraex vision, while against the Hoplomachus, the spear presented a significant challenge because of its superior reach. My personal experience showed me that it is very important to keep the scutum near my body, as even the smallest movement could be used by my opponent to stab me in the stomach, which hurts. And lastly, question number 10. How accurate are modern depictions of the Thraex? Many modern reenactors display the Thraex with remarkable historical accuracy. Both the equipment and the fighting styles vary depending on the interpretation of the archaeological evidence. Differences in helmets, greaves and arm protections are often historically plausible, reflecting the diversity seen in ancient sources. I personally like to see the Thraex from Spectacula Antiqua in Pula, Croatia. And regarding technical aspects of combats, I like the fights from Chris Vernel, which is a Thraex combatant from Acta Archeo in France. And this is the end of the video. I hope you liked it and learned something new along the way. What do you think about the Thraex, his fighting style or his equipment? Let me know down in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe and follow, and we'll see us in the next video. Valete!